Hey everybody, thank you for coming watch. So I've got a little video for you guys here on this major severe weather outbreak that we've got going that's going to be happening for the central US. It's almost exactly what happened with the last one except a lot less, more significant because the last one they're still finding people that have died and, the death toll is really rising. So this one hopefully won't be as bad, but I'm pretty sure that this one still will be a possible outbreak, as we are already dealing with some snow here for the north central, and then we've also been dealing with some showers and thunderstorms, some strong approaching the Michigan area. So that's very interesting to see that. So we're really going to be watching that in the next few hours and then into tomorrow. But I really think that what's really going to be happening the strongest is, or the worst is definitely going to be this severe weather outbreak. So we're going to talk about this in the video. So I just want to point out here that we do have there's some showers that have been moving around the Texas area. Those are really going to play a big role in this this outbreak of severe weather because these are the beginning stages of those discrete cells, and those discrete cells are those cells that are basically they're supercells that form very far away from each other, but they're all rotating, and that's what you call discrete cells. They're very different from each other, and then they're all rotating. So we're gonna move on to your alerts just to see what we've got going on right now. And right off the bat, you can tell it's very busy. So, like what we've been dealing with in the past few days, in the past week or so, we've been dealing with a lot of storm systems that have been riding the jet stream and then moving into the northeast because of this ridge, obviously building in the southeast like every few days. But what we've got going on is we've got some blizzard warnings and winter storm warnings that go up for the north central. This mostly goes out for the Dakotas, but a lot of northern Minnesota in those warnings as well. Excuse me. And then we've got winter weather advisories that go out for most of the north central as well. Some also go out for Maine as some snow showers can move through in a few hours. You've got some flood. I believe these are flood advisories. I don't think these are flood warnings because I don't see a point in having a flood warning up when there aren't storms in this area yet. But I want you to notice this tornado watch here. This is really going to be showing where that tornado threat is elevated. And these are actually the very first storms that are going to pop up. Not the ones here in Texas, but actually the ones here along the border of Illinois, Missouri, and Iowa. So those are going to be your first hand storms, and then you're going to get more storms firing up across the southeast and more parts of the central U.S. So yeah, and then you've got severe thunderstorm warnings already up for a few counties in northern Missouri. We're not going to check those out because I don't think that's too bad, but those are definitely already out. And yeah, so I think that's gonna be it for the alerts. And we're just going to move on now to the HRRR model. This is the HRRR for the North Central, and we're just going to kind of see what this storm is going to bring here. So, Dakotas and Minnesota, you guys should expect a all-out blizzard. You're gonna get a few feet of snow for the northern areas of the states. Southern areas of Minnesota, I just want to tell you now, if you thought that you were going to get some snow, no snow for you guys. It's all going to be rain and thunderstorms. But it's really just going to be the northern areas of all these states that are getting the snow, unless you're farther south than Minnesota. But you can see that this storm will quickly build, and then you've got a pretty good winter storm brewing here for the Dakotas, Minnesota, and parts of northern Wisconsin. Believe it or not, you guys could get some snow showers and maybe some heavier snow as well with this. But you're not getting thunderstorms that are really something to pay attention to until 8 p.m. tonight. And then you start seeing those thunderstorms start to form, and then these will actually become a little bit strong. So overnight, this is a pretty overnight system because you're not going to see much action in the afternoon hours. It's just a lot of tension in the atmosphere because the two boundaries of warm air and cold air are both kind of battling each other. So all the ingredients are coming together for the big show, which is tonight. So we're getting into 10 p.m. These are extremely strong thunderstorms. I'm going to tell you, you guys are going to get rocked out there in southern and central Wisconsin. So you guys in Wisconsin, there's going to be frequent lightning, very gusty winds. But this is like one of those midsummer storms. This is a very strong storm. This could definitely be severe. I'm just not really sure, how strong this storm is going to be. But I just want to point out that the area with the strongest first-hand storms is already, we can tell it's definitely going to be in this circled area here. And I'm going to leave that circled so you guys can just kind of see that and then pay attention to that in the rest of the update. If my voice sounds weird, it's because I'm actually dealing with a cold. I'm dealing with a cold. I'm trying to, get it out of here, but it should be done pretty soon. Anyways, but let's get back to this. So, yeah, those storms are going to continue pushing towards the, coastal regions of the Great Lakes, and they'll actually make it to the eastern coast of Michigan. So that's pretty surprising. They got a little squall line starting to form right here. This one is actually, believe it or not, looks a little bit more organized than the ones that we saw in the last storms. Even though that these are actually, pretty, pretty firsthand, I should say. And then these will continue moving off as some backside storms deliver some secondary rounds of severe thunderstorms that will move through Michigan area. I believe for you guys, I think you guys in Michigan are going to stay all rain unless some reason a bit of northern Michigan gets a little bit of ice. But that could definitely accumulate. But then you still get some more thunderstorms. So we're continuing into tomorrow. So this is already 5 p.m. tomorrow. You're still getting storms firing across the Ohio Valley. Those have a chance for severe weather. I believe we're up to an enhanced risk for those. Those will move into the areas of Kentucky and then the Virginia, and then that'll begin to diminish in the afternoon hours. But the biggest area of concern for me, it's a bit farther northeast. It's this area of central to southern Wisconsin, and then you have northern Michigan also in that risk as well. So this red risk you see here, that is the area where I think is going to have the biggest potential for those strongest storms. So we're going to move on now to the latest SPC. So this is the Severe Weather Prediction Center, if you didn't know already. We're up to moderate risk. We've got two dueling moderate risks here. We've got one for that area just southwest of the area I circled in red. You guys are in a moderate risk, so Des Moines, Iowa, Springfield, Missouri, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Davenport, Iowa, and then Waterloo, Iowa. So a lot of you in Iowa are definitely going to be at risk for severe weather just because this area is very heavily populated. But excuse me. For the enhanced risk, it's definitely going to be Missouri. That's going to be, the state of Missouri is going to be the state with the most people affected by this enhanced risk. So that's a population of over 12 million people. That's a lot. But you've got St. Louis, Missouri, Madison, Wisconsin, Little Rock, Arkansas, Aurora, I don't know if I'm saying that right. It looks like Aurora, Illinois. I think I might be saying that right. I don't know. Rockford, Illinois. So all of you guys are in that enhanced risk. The slight risk, we don't really exactly need to talk about this. DFW, you guys are definitely in that. They've got Fort Worth, Austin, Dallas, and then Milwaukee. Excuse me. You guys in Milwaukee, you guys are a little bit more at risk because you're closer to this enhanced risk, and maybe we'll see tonight, some stronger storms move through that area. And like I was showing in my little mini forecast when we were looking at the outlook of the storm, I think Milwaukee's definitely going to get hit pretty hard by some storms. I'm just not sure exactly when and exactly how hard they'll be, but there's no doubt in my mind that you guys in Milwaukee will definitely get hit by some severe storms. Then that moderate risk farther down south. That's going to include areas like Springfield, Missouri, a little bit of a good chunk of northwestern Arkansas, a tiny bit of the southern border of, or not the southern border, the southeastern border of Oklahoma. I don't know if this is entering Texas grounds, but it doesn't really matter because this isn't like something that's noticeable. Tornado risk, we'll head to that. You do have a hatched area. You have 15% risk for the highest. Des Moines, Iowa, Springfield, Missouri, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Davenport, Iowa, and Waterloo, Iowa. You guys are all in this 15% risk for tornadoes. If I had to guess, I would say the highest risk for tornadoes are going to be farther north, just because those discrete cells there's going to be more of those farther north, and the discrete cells kind of indicate where the highest risk and threat for tornadoes is going to be. So interesting to look at that. Then you got 10% risk for St. Louis, Missouri, Little Rock, Arkansas, Springfield, Illinois, Peoria, Illinois, and Columbia, Missouri. I was going to say Columbus, but Columbia, Missouri. So those are all the major cities in the way of the tornado risk. Wind risk, we don't have a hatch risk. We've got 30% for St. Louis, Madison, Wisconsin, Des Moines, Iowa, Aurora, Illinois, and Rockford, Illinois. So any of you in those areas, just make sure that you're on alert for gusty winds that could be potentially damaging. And then hail, we do have a hatch risk. This is up to 30%. So Madison, Wisconsin, Des Moines, Iowa, Aurora, Illinois, Rockford, Illinois, and Cedar Rapids, Iowa. So there's not too much happening with this. It's just that enhanced risk that's really going to be kind of concerning. But I'll tell you, I don't expect this to be a huge outbreak. If it is, if it becomes an outbreak for some reason, I don't think it's going to be too bad, but it definitely could be an outbreak because a moderate risk is pretty high. That's a 4 to 5 risk. So we're going to watch this system. But regardless, you got to stay safe out there, guys. So we're going to look at the week ahead just a little bit. We're just going to kind of take a look at what's left to go through with our temperatures. We're going to start with these guys. So I just want to point out this ridge in the southeast. This is very noticeable because you're going to see these temperatures really rise, getting into the mid-90s here in southern Florida and southern Texas. So it's like summer. You guys are sizzling out there. And you're in the 70s and 60s for pretty much every day this week. For the mid-Atlantic, not quite the Northeast, a little bit, but a good chunk of you guys in the Northeast are going to be in the 60s and 70s, but it's really the southern northeast, and then the mid-Atlantic. But I mean, you could see the ridge. This is a well-defined cold front that's going to move through around the 5th. So actually, tomorrow, this is a well-defined cold front. You can see this little this wall here almost, if you want to put it this way. I'll put it in blue, so indicating cold air. But this is a well-defined cold front, and this is going to push this storm off to the east. So then all you're left with is just a lot of warm air out in the waters. But these waters are really going to warm up fast. It's very tropical-like in this whole area here. But a little farther up north, you can see 40, 50 degrees. That is not going to make those waters warmer in any way, but just to point that out. And so let's see how this cold air is going to move. Let's see if it takes any twists or turns. But you can see it struggles to push this warm air out of the way because it's just so strong. I mean, you're getting mid 80s to upper 80s now into a little bit farther north in the southeast. And then these temperatures, these 70s and maybe even upper 70s, could reach the mid-Atlantic and the northeast. So very interesting to see. But even the central started out this winter looking like the spring was going to be a very slow start to spring. But no, I mean this warm front. I mean this ridge in the southeast has just been so strong that it's pretty much dominating the whole eastern U.S. Here's another one. You got 75 degrees in the New York City area. That's really going to be a nice day, guys. So, around, I don't know, this might be Thursday or Friday. Between then, you guys got to get outside. I mean, if you're in the mid Atlantic, it is going to be nice. I'll tell you, it's going to be warm, not too hot. Make it a little hot here and there, but man, it's going to be warm. And then we see this pattern where we start seeing some more warmth giving to the western U.S. That's a very good sign because what's been triggering these like severe weather outbreaks. Excuse me. Is this ridge in the southeast because there's just so much moisture because it's so warm that it's just feeding. There's just so much energy left to feed these storms, and then this is the day where spring all of a sudden sprung. It's like the April 10th is where almost the entire US is in 60s plus temperatures. And I just want to look at the entire US for a second. It's amazing to see. Now, this is what spring should look like. You got 70s and 80s for everyone. I don't see any 90s in the US, and you've got 40s and then 50s in the north. That is exactly what the spring is supposed to look like. So pause the video and just, say to yourself, this is what a normal spring day looks like compared to this. Watch this. You guys in the southeast, you're cooking at 92 degrees in Florida. This is Central Florida at 92 degrees in April. That is not supposed to happen. But man, and then finally, you'll get that first taste of spring for most of you guys in the western U.S. And then it returns. It comes back around the 10th and the 11th. But you're just going to have a bunch of warm and cold shots of air. Look at this. You've got 70 degrees all the way, stretching all the way into Maine and the parts of Canada. So this warm air is really going to make it a long way. And then that same exact area just gets even warmer. Now you've got upper 70s for all of the Northeast. Comes back, you're getting another 80s day. This one looking like maybe even the lower 80s for widespread. Let's go to the Northeast, actually. I just want to point this out here in the Northeast. Look at this. You got 84 degrees just north of New York City. So it's going to be like 85 to 86 degrees in New York. Like something like that. New York City, around the 15th, it'll definitely be in the 80s. But it'll feel like summer. Then you get back into the 80s a few days. And that's really when spring just stays consistent. And the nights become, 40s and 50s. And then the daytime you get back into the 60s, 70s, and 80s. That's typical spring. But around the 20th and late April, that's when you start seeing those temperatures. When you're seeing the 80s, what for temperatures becomes kind of normal in a way. But now you shouldn't have 90 degrees in Florida. That's just not right. I'll tell you. That is supposed to be left off for the summer, but it is not summer, guys. It is still spring. So here's just the GFS on what's to be looked at for the week ahead. And luckily, it doesn't look like there's going to be much action in the U.S. You don't see any atmospheric river, any signs of a new one, no severe weather, and that's pretty much it until this piece of energy along the northern states of the U.S. starts trying to form something, but it doesn't. It's just going to be some showery weather and stuff like that until you get another possible severe weather outbreak. I don't want to say outbreak, but severe thunderstorm that will move through the central around the 16th. We'll watch that, but it doesn't look like too bad. So I think I can say this. If we can just get through today, we'll have a break with this insane weather. So enjoy the spring. It's going to be very nice spring. I think that after this, the spring is really going to calm down, and it's just going to be what a normal spring would look like. So, like we saw with that winter storm for today, I just want to show you guys the snowfall totals for that. I mean, this is why I said a blizzard. You look at this. I mean, I know it's cut off of the screen. Excuse me. But, I mean, northern Minnesota and the Dakotas both getting at least 15 inches of snow. That is a lot of snow, and that is a blizzard. But you can see we're going to go through the rest of the month, and you don't see pretty much any other snow event that's noticeable here on the snow map. So this should be the last one that's going to give you a good amount of snowfall. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. So that's gonna wrap the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, like, share, comment, subscribe, not subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys in the next video. So stay safe out there today, and I'll catch you guys in the next update.